Hey, everyone. Welcome. It's Zaya. Just give me a minute to get rid of the information that is on the screen that is useless. So, welcome. This is another episode of Zaya's Inspiring Evenings, a podcast. And this is a new series that I'm so excited about. It's called Deckiverse Diaries, and it's all about the decks, the cards, and the shuffling. It's about deck creators, deck ideas, card stories, and all the amazing links. All the amazing things that one can imagine with cards, whether they're physical cards or digital cards. And to inaugurate this series, I am very, very happy and very excited to be welcoming one of my mentors, the incredible Joanna Hunter. Hi, Joanna.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be one of the first on this new series, and I do love all things decks. So
Yeah,
this series is right up my street.
yeah. I wondered whether I was going to call it Deckiverse Diaries or Deck Addicts or something of the sort for Deck Anonymous Addicts or something of the sort.
Yeah. No,
But
addicts go to meetings. I will
yes,
never go to a meeting for decks. I'm enjoying it far too much.
yeah, exactly. We don't want to get you don't want to get cured
It's
of
an
that.
addiction I don't want to give up.
Exactly. So let me introduce you to anyone who doesn't know you for the minute. So, Joanna Hunter is an international metaphysical teacher, author, speaker, and channel for the transcendent collective consciousness known as Skylar. Joanna is on a soulful mission. She is here to weave the teachings of Skylar into the fabric of Earth, reviving magic, abundance, and a profound connection to Source. Joanna Hunter brings a refreshing, no nonsense approach, often hailed as the most down to earth woo coach you will ever encounter. Yeah, you do, actually. So today we're talking decks, and before we go into the actual topic, I want to come back to the deck creators are usually people who used to love decks before. So you are a deck person from the day one that I met you. You were holding a deck, right? You have been
Yeah.
playing with decks for how much?
I began reading tarot when I was 15. I began teaching tarot and oracle, reading oracle decks at 23. And at that point, I'd already been reading decks for 8 years when I began teaching. And I am now, well, next year it will be my big 50. I'll be 50 next year. So it has been a lifelong love affair with card
With
decks.
decks. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely
And
lifelong love affair. I love all different types of card decks. So the main card decks obviously are tarot and then oracle cards, but then you have the Leormand, which is another style of deck. And my newest deck is going to be an affirmation deck, which is
yeah,
using
yeah,
affirmation. So something a wee bit different again.
absolutely. So before we go into your new deck, which gets me, I have a question. I have a numbers question. Do you dare? How many decks do you
Mhm.
own at this day? Do you know?
It's I don't actually know the official number, but the last time I counted, I was 153 decks, and quite a
Congratulations. That's a very
few
nice
decks had
addiction.
joined me. But that number sounds absolutely horrific. But you've got to remember, I've been collecting decks since I was 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lifelong, and there's many decks that I've actually left my home. I've had a deck for a while and then maybe given it on to a friend or decided I want a deck that was maybe not for me and things like
Hmm.
that. But one of my favorite things is when I'm traveling, I love to buy a deck somewhere where I am. So
Oh,
it's this beautiful little treat to myself. And then the deck for me, not only does it have obviously an awesome deck, but it has a little story behind it. Like, oh,
I
that's the
love
deck
that.
I got when I was in LA, or that's one that I got when I was in Sedona, or that's the deck that I
Hmm.
got in Malta, or that's the deck I got here. And so I love that as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I
so
love that
any
too. That's
excuse to buy
amazing.
a deck, really.
So, not only do you own, collect, play, read with cards, but you have been creating decks. I've been
Mm,
for quite a while, and I know that you did some limited edition decks, but
yeah.
recently you've jumped into the big pool of real decks, like big editions of decks. So
Yes. Yes.
the first one is the Divine Planning Abundant Profits deck.
Yes. So that's this deck here. It's called Divine Planning Abundant Profits. This is
And
the
this one is out
little
already, right?
guidebook for it.
This one anyone can buy, right? It's
This
already
is
out.
on Amazon right now, and anyone can buy this. What's so cool about this deck is that it's a deck specifically for business. And as somebody who owns a lot of decks, I can maybe count, like, I have less than what I can count on one hand of decks that are specifically designed for business owners. So
Agreed.
this is what makes this deck quite unique. And it's just the perfect deck for, like, if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you're building your business, it's the perfect deck for that. It's really good. It helps you to really find the answers within you, help to find your path of least resistance for your business and things. So I have really, really enjoyed using my own deck, and the feedback's been amazing from this deck. Everybody's been loving it so far, so it's been really, really great. So that's my first kind of like
Yeah, and I wanted to
big
to
girl
to
deck.
just say that I live in France, and it's available on Amazon France as well. So it's all over,
Oh, amazing,
basically. So you
amazing,
can get
amazing.
it. So yeah, it's an amazing deck, to be honest. Yeah, but I'm partial, but it is an amazing deck. So this
Yeah, I
was
think that it was an interesting deck to create, because the creation process of this deck was months in the making, and then when it actually came down to it, it happened so rapidly. So for months I had felt this call to create this deck, and I, was kind of thinking about, what would be the format of the deck, like how would I do it, like all of these things. And then I was speaking to my assistant, and I was speaking to my assistant, and I said, "Have we got anything on this afternoon? Like, is there anything like that needs my attention or like anything?" She was like, "No." And I was like, "I think I'm feeling really called to sit down and like start the Divine Planning Abundant Profits deck." And she says, "Okay, yeah." And she says, "Well, you're free this afternoon. Like, there's not anything on the agenda. There's nothing that I need to go over with you. Like, you can fill that time with doing the deck. That would be awesome." So I was like, great. So I sat down, and I started working on the design of how I wanted the layout to be in the design and everything. And then so rapidly, like 60 cards came through me, and each card has 3 journaling questions. So that together is 180 journaling questions. So that all came through me really rapidly. And then I get on the phone to my assistant, and I say, go jump, because I designed the deck in Canva, because I like to work in Canva. So I designed the deck in Canva, and then I got my team to go and grab all the elements and put it all into like InDesign, which is like an Adobe software, so that we could get it sent like proper print files and everything. So I designed this deck like in Canva, and so I was like that. I was like, "Oh, I've just finished the deck," and she was like, "But
Sorry,
it's only
what?
been like an hour and like 20 minutes," and I was like, "Yeah." And so she was like, "I'm confused. Like, I thought you were just starting the deck," and I was like, "Yeah, I did. Like,
Yeah.
I hadn't had done anything. I just started today." And she's like, "Well, it mustn't have very many cards." And I said, "Well, it's 60 cards, so it's quite a meaty deck." And she went, "But Joanna, wait a minute." So she starts tapping on her mobile phone, and she looks at like what my call time was, and she's like, "It's an hour and like 23 minutes since you last spoke to me. Like, how could you have created 60 cards in that time?" And that's when it dawned on me, like, I have dyslexia. There is no way that I could write 180, like 180 different journaling questions in that time. Then never mind design every single card in that time frame. It was
Well, you
just
were not alone,
ridiculous.
maybe. Maybe you're not completely
and then
alone.
I was like, it dawned on me, like, I must have entered some weird kind of like liminal space where I was really just channeling spirit, and somehow I was just in an accelerated time frame, and it just went whoosh, and it was done. And then from that point onwards, as I like to say, it was my team's problem, because now that I'd done the initial creation, it was their job to get it into InDesign, and it was their job to start getting the wheels rolling and getting the files off to the printer, you know. But it was such a rapid download, which is hilarious, because that's how Divine Planning Abundant Profits arrived in the first place. The course came as one of those rapid downloads as well, and came all in one chunk. But it was really like, I was just like, oh, wait a minute. And then the more I thought about it, the more it made my brain hurt, because I was just like, there isn't actually enough time for me to have actually pulled that off, and yet it's there, and I've done it. And it
Sometimes
was so
it's about, you know, okay, it's done anyway. Don't search it too much, you know, fine.
I'm like, don't think about it too much, because your brain will hurt so bad if you do that. Because there shouldn't have been a physical impossibility for me to have actually created the number of cards that I did in the space that I did. Because if you think an hour has 60 minutes, that means in an hour and 20 minutes, I had like a minute and a bit for each card. Like, I can't even type that fast.
I see you. That's the thing that happens, right? When you're not alone working on your stuff.
When you're in the flow and you're partnering with spirit, 100%. Like,
and that's why this deck also, I'm sure, is exactly adapted to spiritual entrepreneurs, because it's, you know, that's where we work, or we try to work, or we get there as much as possible, and hopefully create our stuff in an hour and 20 minutes as well.
Yes.
So for anyone who wants this deck, as we were saying, it's called Divine Planning's Abundant Profits. It is available on Amazon. You will also find, and it's beautiful. We should, you know, because please.
Oh, thank you. She does have super sexy sides. She has got a gold holographic side, which makes her very pretty. But let's take a card for anybody listening. So this is... let's pull a card for anyone here. So if you're listening to this on the replay, give us a little hashtag replay. And we've just had a card jump out here. So this is the one that's really keen to jump out. So this is the blocks, or if you notice that the B is in commas there. So it's blocks or locks. So where have you felt blocked lately? Where have you been ignoring your own wisdom? And what do you need to see in order to let go of being blocked? So that's your card there. And then in the book, we go into what we call the light web and the shadow web. So the light web is like the highest potential of the card. And the shadow web is like that pieces of yourself that you hope nobody finds out and knows about you, you know? It's all those like those doubts and fears and things like that. So we share both the light and the dark of each card, and then we give a message and then a beautiful affirmation, and then we reiterate in the book as well the journal questions. But that is the little blocks card.
Awesome.
There she is.
So you can find it on Amazon, but you can also find the links on Joanna's website, and so I've put the links above or below the audio or the video.
Thank you so much.
So you can find the links to that deck. So weren't you happy and proud with that one? But
I was
you didn't
delighted.
stop there. You didn't stop there, did you?
I was delighted, and I've been so happy with, you know, this deck has felt like a real cornerstone kind of piece of content for my business and things like that. And I love, you know, I love the fact that it's such a useful deck for me as well, right? Because I run a spiritual business and it's so easy to get in the weeds, you know, to get in the fuddle about things, and then you get distracted and, oh, look at that squirrel and a shiny object. And before you know it, and what's so lovely is to take that beautiful practice of oracle cards and be able to bring it into your business and be able to get that guidance for a new direction or a new way forward, and to give you a kind of point to start from to begin maybe journaling, because I'm also a huge fan of a journaling practice, which is why we've got the journaling questions on each card.
But I think that the amazing thing is exactly as as I'm remembering that I read your bio earlier on, and there's this no nonsense part. I think there are many oracle decks that go for the theme. Where are they? Go and journal. Kind of, we're not here to joke about or fluffy, nice, sweetie energy. It's about solving problems. How can this deck help me get forward in my business? And sometimes it's
Yeah.
about not the fluffy unicorns all the time, because sometimes we need the help of spirit through the deck.
Sometimes we need a gentle but loving boot in the backside to get ourselves motivated and moving again, right? And yes, it's lovely. Those, the angel decks and all the really lovely, they are lovely and they have a special place in my heart. But for business, I want something meaty. I want something nitty gritty, and I want something that is going to kind of kickstart the creative process for me, as
I'm going
opposed
to
to
send me in somewhere,
spoon feeding me
if
the answers.
if I'm looking for an, I'm stuck somewhere in my business or I don't know in which direction to go, I don't want
Yeah.
somebody to tell me, oh, but you should, I don't know, meditate. No, that's, help me out. How? What about should I meditate? Give me a question to think about, don't tell me, oh, it's about resting. Yeah, sure, but my business, how does, so, and I love that, because it doesn't mean it's not spiritual, as we have established, since it's been completely downloaded in an hour and 20 minutes. It's definitely spiritual, but it's not fluffy spiritual. And that is, I think, an
No,
amazing,
boots on the ground,
useful deck.
always.
Also,
Yeah,
it for
I will
me,
die on that hill, boots on the ground. We've
yeah,
got to have a human life before anything else.
well,
We
that's
came
what we're
here
here
to
for.
experience a human life. We got to have those boots on the ground,
Yeah,
to ground us and to be fully immersed in the experience of being a human being.
yeah.
First and foremost, I think that's such an important thing. And one of the things that I heard this once, that somebody said to me once that, oracle cards and tarot cards, they're not there to give you the answers. They're there to help you find the answers that already
Hmm.
exist within you. And I love that.
Yes, I
Like,
love
that
that
is such
as
a
well.
beautiful,
I love that. Yeah.
like, idea, because they're there as a tool for personal exploration.
Yeah. But to be a tool, we need somebody holding the tool. So we need to be there
Yes.
ourselves. Yeah, I
Yes.
love that. It's
Yes.
absolutely mostly for a business deck, which I think is amazing that that it would um, join once more, which is what you do in your business in general. But here we can get access to this absolute weaving of spirituality and business, or of spirit and business, and that's beautiful.
Yes, for sure. I love
So
that.
this was not the plan for me to talk about this
No,
deck.
because we're here to talk
Actually,
about a new
plan,
one.
because
It's so new.
yes,
I don't
because you
even
have a
have
new
like a
deck
sample
coming.
deck or copy of it or anything yet. So I'm super
Well,
excited.
that's fine, because we're mostly on audio. So and it is gorgeous. But for guys,
Hmm.
for the people who have not seen it, you'll have to wait a little bit. So it's called Daily Light Oracle Deck, right?
So Daily Light Affirmation deck is the full
Affirmation
title
deck. Yeah.
for it. Yeah. And she is probably the most, and this is saying a lot, one of the most stunning decks I have ever seen. And you've got to remember, I have a huge collection of decks, but Stephanie Wicker Campbell, who was the artist, I mean, these images are so complex. They're like multi-layered and faceted, and there's like this diamond light happening inside them. And oh, it is a whole vibe. It is so beautiful. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to hold this
Agreed.
in my hands.
Agreed. I've seen some images, and it's like so. Let's do this in the correct order. I'm going to play dummy, right? So what is an affirmation?
So,
and why are they
an
useful?
affirmation, the best way I can describe an affirmation is like a new program that you can install into your brain to either erase
Oh,
old
I love that.
programming that is not doing you any favors. So, for instance, old programming might be that you have to work hard for money, or making money is difficult, right? And so an affirmation can be, I make money effortlessly and easily, right? So that's an affirmation that then installs that new program into our brain. And the cool thing with our brains is that they're very habitual, meaning that they form habits very, very easily. And that's bad in
Mm-hmm.
the cases of bad habits, but when it comes to like using
Yeah.
affirmations, which are good habits to develop, it means that the brain will quite quickly assimilate this new information that we're saying again and again and again. So basically,
So it's like an upgrade to basic
yeah, it's like
programming.
basic programming. It's like computer programming for your brain, and you can program your brain with pretty much anything. So, what we have done in the Daily Light is create 60 of my favorite affirmations, are in there, and all of these affirmations are, they're not just like, hey, let's come up with 60 affirmations and you know, and run with it. These
Mm-hmm.
are tried, tested, loved, road
Mm-hmm.
tested affirmations. These have changed my clients' lives. These have changed my life. So I'm like, I cannot wait. Stephanie, who's the artist, when she was doing the artwork, and obviously she got the manuscript of all the
Mm-hmm.
affirmations, she began using them. And she's like, oh my God, these are like freaking magic. And I'm like, I know. And she was just like, these are crazy. Like, these are shifting things so quickly. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, they are powerful. They are potent. And they're potent because I've refined them over,
Yeah.
you know, the course of years. So what I've got is, you know, probably 60 of some of the most powerful affirmations out there that are going to really create paradigm shifts for people and give them that daily light, which is so important, I think, every day.
So can you explain what you mean by daily light?
So I'm going to use an example of somebody that made me really laugh, actually. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't mean to be cruel to laugh at this person, but I was talking and exalting gratitude, because that's another thing that I really, really love. I love gratitude. I love affirmations. And I was exalting gratitude on my page, and somebody wrote, I tried that thing once. It didn't work. And it really made me giggle. It really made me laugh, because I'm like, well, I tried that showering thing, but I can't work out where the smell comes from now, because I only ever did it once and it didn't work, you know. And it's like, and that's so typical. I think people think that they're one and done with stuff, right? And so daily light is this kind of reminder, and this is why we went with this name of daily light, is this reminder that we got to do it daily. We got to
Mm-hmm.
tap into that light. We got to
Mm-hmm.
tap into the positive thinking. We got to tap into the affirmations, the gratitude on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
to actually reap the rewards and the benefit. It's like you just can't shower once and then expect that you are going to be fresh for the rest of your human days.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
You know,
work like that. And it's
it
the
made me
same
it
with your thinking.
about makes me think about the toddler's attitude.
Yeah.
You know, they stand up and then they walk and they fall, basically, all of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they don't give up and decide
No,
that,
they're
okay,
not
now I'm
like,
going to be
oh, this
walking on all
walking
fours for the
thing is
rest of
not
my
for
life.
me.
Yeah, walking, not for me. I've tried it once, but it doesn't work. It's like, and this also what I like about this or the shower example is that we have to go at it with a childlike thing. That you know, every day we try more. Every day we, and if we make it into a, you know, every day I pull a card. Plus the cards, any card,
Absolutely.
they have
Absolutely.
a game idea because you know you pull a card. There's playing with cards is never the same as books. Books have got this serious thing. I've got to read the book. Oh my god! No, but the cards you
Yes.
can easily make it into a daily play of me pulling a card once, twice a day, several times a day if I want to, and it's like a break in my working day or it's a break in my life, whatever.
And it
And it
can
keeps
be a pattern
fun.
interrupter as well, right? Because if you're like in a state of thought and you're like thinking the same way, and you're starting to maybe like psych yourself out, or you're feeling a bit down, or you're feeling like you're not having good quality thoughts, you know, taking a card, shuffling a deck and taking a card that you know is going to have a positive affirmation, or you know it's going to have like journaling questions that are going to help you to move deep into your mind in business, then what happens is that it interrupts that pattern of negative thought, and gives you something else to focus on. And especially if you know that you're pulling something like the daily light affirmations, they're going to be like really positive, you know, and that's the big thing there of like creating that kind of more positive dialogue, which I think is so powerful and potent.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, again, they're beautiful. And as a big believer that beauty is changing the world, that if we do not accept anything ugly around us, we change the world, because we create beauty, and beauty is spreading. And so anything beautiful, I believe that the energy of a beautiful thing, whatever it is, a work of art, book, will lift, won't.
Yeah.
So just energy also with the only with the words, but with the aspect of them. I think it's going to be a magic deck.
Yes, I'm hoping. I think there's going to be a lot of daily light miracles. I'm predicting that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to see some amazing miracles in the, you know, in the deck, and in what they're, you know, pulling the deck, and maybe they'll find one or two favorite affirmations that they begin working with on a consistent basis. And it's going to be so fun to see people, what they're going to be able to pull in and draw into their lives from something like the Daily Light Oracle, you know, or the Daily Light Affirmation deck.
It's like, you know, the affirmations have changed my life, because I was a smoker for 35 years, and I decided to change and become a non-smoker again. And I did that with affirmations. For a whole month, I literally brainwashed myself into believing that I was a non-smoker, and here I am, a non-smoker. So
Amazing.
that's, you know, that was 7 years ago now, but still. And it
That's
started.
so powerful, because it's such a testament to how programmable our brains can be, right? And especially when we're looking at something like smoking, for instance, that is an addiction, right? Like it is an addictive substance, and things. And to be able to break things like that, to just with using affirmation, is so powerful. It shows you.
It was, for me, it launched me on my spiritual journey. It was like, oh fuck, if words can do that, words in my mind can do that, what else can we do? Just wait a second. What else can we do? You know, and so I'm really excited to have my own copy of the Daily Light affirmations, because I'm so, you know, I believe that you've got the magic, and you're sharing it with us. So it's like, yes, let's do this.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, so
Plus,
she's a little bit different, our Daily Light, because she's a square deck.
yeah, that's what I was
So
going
I
to
wanted to
say.
go for something really different. I wanted to have something that you don't see as often. You know, square decks, they are out there, but there isn't so many. And I was like, I really fancy like a square deck. So when I brought that idea to Steph, she just ran with it. She was like, yes, let's do a square deck. So I was so excited. And when the first iterations of that artwork were coming through, I was like, holy moly. And then we came up with this idea that all of the images would have some kind of doorway on them. So every single image has got either some type of doorway on them. And because I feel like affirmations are portals into brand new timelines, into brand new realities. And so I love this idea that each of the cards would have like a different doorway leading you into a new reality, leading you into the reality of the affirmation. And so, yeah, it was kind of fun to
I love that.
see
Yeah.
the designs come and see all the different portals and doorways and like they've got archways. Some have got archways and some have got because I said, well, can we do some nature-based ones? So some are like trees and the trees come together and it kind of makes a doorway and stuff like that. So
Oh,
they're stunning.
beautiful. So excited, so excited. And she's not coming alone. She's coming with her own journal, right?
Yes.
So
we're doing
can
a
you
gratitude
please,
journal.
yeah, give me a couple of minutes on why journaling is so crucial? Because I know that you're a fanatic. I am too. At this minute, I have at least
I
5.
love journaling. And the funny thing is, journaling, I actually really detested journaling when I first came to it. I thought it was the most navel-gazing, self-indulgent crock that I had ever come across. I was like, this is so narcissistic. And I had quite a lot of judgments about journaling. And obviously, like, how did I get onto team journaling now, you know? And what really kind of changed my mind was gratitude journaling. So this journal is actually a gratitude journal, and I love traditional journaling and gratitude journaling now. But what changed things for me was gratitude journaling initially, of really sitting down. And I think the thing that made gratitude journaling so potent for me was that it felt like the journaling had a purpose, that I was giving thanks, that I was reflecting on my day, or I was reflecting on my life, and I was reflecting on my life through the lens of gratitude. And of course, gratitude journaling is so powerful, so potent. So I was also starting to reap the results of that gratitude journaling quite rapidly. My life was changing as a result of giving that attention and energy to gratitude journaling. And then I kind of fell into love with actual journaling. And I started realizing that it wasn't this like self-indulgent crock as I had once thought. I realized that how important it is for us as human beings to be witnessed. And even if the only witness to your journey is yourself, it is still important to acknowledge the journey and witness the journey. And when we journal, that's what we do. We are acknowledging and witnessing our own journey. And there's something powerful and potent that happens, because when everything just lives in your head, it's this big guddle in there. Like, that's a good Scottish word, guddle, but it's like this big mess in there. And when you put it down and to commit it to a journal, you start to sift through information much quicker. You start to be able to sort through it and be like, yes. So
for me, it was even worse. I thought that I knew everything that was in my head until I started writing it down. And then I realized that I didn't know what was in my head. A lot of it I didn't know. And as far as the gratitude goes, I didn't even know how much gratitude I was kind of retaining instead of expressing it. It was there, but it was, under loads of other shit things in my head. And so actually, I believe that for me, journaling changed in a way that it opened up the gateways for more gratitude and for more understanding of myself and for things that literally I don't think I'm writing,
and like
up to a certain
processing
extent,
as well, right?
Like
processing
absolutely
things that you're going through, or if you feel like something's unfair, or you feel like you're not moving the needle, and just having that open dialogue. And quite often I find that I write my stuff, and then, like you said, it's like someone else is writing through me and giving me the solutions and answers, as I tap into that universal energy and that universal flow.
I have this exact same feeling. And I believe that it is very also very, it's fine to journal on my own in a blank notebook, but I love to have prompts. I love prompts because they send me somewhere where I'm sometimes not willing to go. It's like, it kind of opens the locks that you showed us earlier on. It opens the doors to places that maybe I'm trying to avoid. And that can be even true for gratitude journaling. Some things that,
well,
oh yeah, all right, I don't want to be grateful for hot
normal
water.
Gratitude journal. We could not do a normal gratitude journal. Oh no. She is so much more than just your regular run-of-the-mill gratitude journal. So our journal is split into 5 sections. Each section
Mm-hmm.
starts with a letter from me and my spirit team, Skylar. So we introduce you to the concept of the journaling. It's all gratitude journaling, but we're bringing you into 5 concepts. So the first concept that we bring in is gratitude for the past. This, for me, has been one of the most powerful, potent types of gratitude journaling, and journaling on things that maybe had caused me pain, things that have been difficult to walk through, and to be able to look at those back in hindsight through the lens of gratitude and realize that, okay, that challenge was a shit show, but the thing is, if I hadn't gone through that challenge, I wouldn't have asserted these boundaries and I wouldn't have got this from it. So the first lot of journaling that we've got is for you to go through your past and to start alchemizing the energy of your past through the lens of gratitude. Then we invite you, in the next letter, we invite you to look at your life lessons, all the lessons that you've learned. And some of those lessons were harder than others, but if we can look at those life lessons through the lens of gratitude, again, we can create this alchemaic process that will really help us to heal as well. So we're using this tool not only to gratitude journal and to create more positive energy in your daily life, but we're using it to alchemize your past and the
Mm-hmm.
lessons. And then we're
I love
using
that.
it as well to kind of like add this potent energy in. So then we have gratitude journaling. Our third section is the gratitude journaling for the now. Right now, what is happening in your life right now. So lots of lovely prompts to get you going for now. And then we are gratitude journaling on what we are calling in. What do you want to happen next? So
Ooh, I
we're
love that.
talking in your present tense. So it works with my process that I work with in a lot of my courses. And of course, you've been part of a lot of my courses. So we start with what I call clearing the decks, get
Mm-hmm.
rid of the guts, which is why we're looking at the gratitude for the past and gratitude for the lessons, so that we
Yeah.
can
Mm-hmm.
start clearing that energy off. And instead of having negative energy tied
Mm-hmm.
there, then we give
Mm-hmm.
the present moment a little once over. And now we start using gratitude as a tool for manifestation. What are we calling in? And we're going to talk about that gratitude as though we already have those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to
I love that.
speak gratitude, speak prophecy into our being and into our world. And then we finish on gratitude reframes. So gratitude reframes is a very powerful and potent practice to use gratitude with. So for instance, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late. Or thank you for your patience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're saying like, I'm so sorry I'm late, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, right? You're
Shrinking.
diminishing your own personal power, right?
Yeah.
Like that, you're diminishing your own personal power. But then using gratitude to reframe and say, thank you so much for your patience, thank you for hanging on for me, you know. um you're really rising in your power, and you're owning your power of saying, okay, well, the late thing, it's happened, but I am grateful that you were patient, or I am grateful. So
Mm-hmm.
it can really alchemize. So we're going to be looking. So that's how we're going to finish that gratitude journal, is looking through the lens of what energy can I start reframing in my world? What
Oh, I love
energy
that.
are the things that are maybe dragging my power, dragging me down, that I can reframe? So by the time you will get to the end of that gratitude journal, you will have created new things,
Mm-hmm.
manifested new things. You'll have made peace with your past and your lessons. You'll be more firmly anchored into gratitude for the present moment. And then, on top of all of that, you will also be able to have a bunch of reframes that when life comes and boots you in your backside and you're late, you're not there a massive apologies. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
you are standing firmly in your power and saying, thank you so much for your patience instead, or
I love
whatever
that.
the situation that we have.
I love that. The amazing thing is that it's like a journey through
Yes.
through my life with yeah, the length of gratitude, as
Yes.
you know, that we can hopefully develop gratitude around pretty much everything,
Yes.
and end up with the hopefully um certitude or the reassurance that everything is indeed happening for me
Yes,
and
yes.
that I'm
You
making it
know,
happen for me. And
yeah,
so,
and that's so true. Like, you know, I think that's one of the biggest mindset shifts in my own kind of spiritual journey and awakening was really believing that life is happening to me and then shifting that to life is happening for me.
yeah,
And that was huge. And the lens of gratitude was massive in being able
yeah,
to see that. And a lot of people just use gratitude in the very traditional way. I'm so happy and grateful for, and they fill in their blank, and it's a wonderful practice. It's
yeah.
amazing. But honestly, that is like revving the engine in the garage of gratitude. You're not even taking the car out for a spin.
Mhm.
So what I wanted to do is create a gratitude journal with a difference where you really took gratitude for a spin. Like, I want you to leave tire marks when you go out and you take gratitude for a spin. So I'm excited to see people really take road test gratitude because it has this alchemic process of where
Mhm.
it can transform the most bitter experiences in your life into ones where you're realizing, okay, I would never want to go through that again, but I am glad that I did
Mhm.
go, and I'm glad for the lessons that I learned
Yeah.
because they have shaped me into who I am today.
Well, this is very, very, very accurate for me right at this minute. So I need this journal. So tell me, where can I get it? No, I'm going to answer that question myself. You will find the link to pre-order it, the journal and the daily light affirmation deck, in above or below the video everywhere. So it's not available yet. So you can pre-order it, but you still have to
Yes.
wait some time
Yeah,
until it's
don't come for
available.
me if it doesn't arrive tomorrow because it is on pre-order.
So if you're listening to this in March 2024, when we are recording it, since it's a podcast, so it might be there, in another 5 years. So if you're listening, official release date.
So the official release date is going to be at the end of May, is when Muse Oracle Press, who are my publishers, they're going to get their stock, and then they have a global distribution partner who are selling the deck on Amazon, and then the deck will also be available, and the journal will be available in major bookstores globally. So that is going to be August 7th for that.
Okay, so May, if you're local to Muse,
Yeah.
and then August, if you're global. And yeah, you can start buying the polish wax for the gratitude car.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Let's take
Oh,
gratitude out for a big old spin. Because it's gonna, like, I'm really
and
excited
again,
about this.
to mention, we forgot to mention that the journal is also beautiful. Random notebook.
Yes.
It's
She's full
aligned. The
color.
cover is
Full color journal.
it's
Epic
beautiful.
quotes inside from like famous people. And then it also has my journaling prompts. So we call these journaling prompts gratitude openers. So they open the door to gratitude for different areas of your life and things. You've got the 5 letters. So each section, you know that you're moving into a new section when it starts with a letter
Mm-hmm.
from myself and Skylar. And it's full color inside, and then it's also got beautiful affirmations inside as well on these big, huge, beautiful colored, very rich, very decadent kind of pages. She is coming with a silk ribbon inside, and she
Ooh,
is also coming with a gold edges. So
isn't
we've got
that posh? I can't
just
wait. Really,
gorgeous,
seriously. And
gorgeous.
isn't that becoming that you pulled the card earlier on from the other deck? So the Divine
Mm-hmm.
Planning's Abundant Profits deck that is all about opening doors and unlocking portals on the daily
Yeah.
light affirmation, and the gratitude journaling prompts as gratitude openers as well. So there's a theme here. I can sense a theme. Uh,
Yes, absolutely.
it's so generous of you to be sharing this amazing knowledge with the world. I think, if you don't know Joanna Hunter, go and rush and buy the decks and the journals and have fun with it, because that's the thing, I'm pretty sure if we can stay in the joy energy and play and try again if we don't succeed in the first time, as we were saying earlier on, it's not about writing one line in the gratitude journal and then giving up because it doesn't work, quote unquote. I think it's really a gorgeous endeavor that you are on to share this with the world, and giving each and every one of us
Thank
the
you.
possibility to rise
Oh,
in our
I
lives.
love that. I think it's such a lovely, it's lovely to create these daily
Yeah,
practices, that make all the difference. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be pulling a card or writing a couple of lines in a journal that day. And,
I
and
agree.
that's enough,
I
right? It
agree.
doesn't have to be this, like, I think a lot of people think that if they're to like make a spiritual practice every day, they have to become like some Zen master and meditate
Yeah,
for 4
meditate for
hours.
5 hours. Yeah.
Like who in the modern world has got time for that, um and but you can have these beautiful little mindful moments, have a little cup of tea and pull a couple of cards. You can't get more simpler and easier, more
Yeah.
accessible than that. And that's one of the reasons why I just adore cards in general. And I feel so honored to be a card creator now. It's something that I truly love.
Yeah.
And you're a card creator as well,
Yeah, I am
Isaiah.
too. I
So
am too.
you're
But
great.
I have been inspired by so many beautiful decks that I've played along the years. And I met you, I met Kay from Australia, and I realized, yeah, anyone with a create a deck, but more about that on a different episode.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but yeah, if you have a deck in you, sure, I'm working on showcasing as many decks from as many creators as possible through different things
Amazing.
and modalities in my business, but we'll talk about that some other time. I just want to thank you so much for having been a guest and launching this series into the world. Again, thank you for launching the Daily Light Affirmation deck and the Gratitude Journaling and the Divine Planning Abundant Profits decks, so that everyone in the world can benefit. And thank you so much for being in this podcast. And I hope we talk again soon. To the listeners, thank you very much for having the both of us, and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Joanna.
Bye now.
Bye for
Bye.
now.
Thank you.